Welcome back to Shrink by Quint, where each week we dive into the complexities of psychotherapy, dispelling myths and leveraging the latest research to explore a wide array of mental health topics. My goal is to empower you with knowledge and insights that nurture a healthier, happier life, because after all, your health truly is your wealth. Now this week I'm looking at anxiety. Well, to be precise, two types of anxiety. The so-called traits and states. Anxiety is a coverall word we all throw around, a feeling we all share, but it comes in more forms than most people realize, and to understand more about anxiety is to be on the road to managing it better. Imagine anxiety not as a passing emotion, but as something woven into the fabric of your personality. That's what psychologists call trait anxiety. Think of it as your baseline tendency to feel anxious, a predisposition that can shadow you day in and day out, like an ever-present background hum. If you have high trait anxiety, you might notice yourself worrying more than others, feeling tense even when there's no obvious reason for it. It's a bit like wearing anxiety-tinted glasses. The world seems full of potential threats. But here's the hopeful takeaway. Understanding anxiety as a trait rather than an identity can change your relationship with it. It's a quirk, not a defining label. You don't have to battle it or let it become a core part of who you are. Instead, you can learn to coexist with it, recognizing that anxiety is part of your psychological makeup, but it doesn't have to dictate your every move. And with that realization, you can shift from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered, working with your anxiety rather than constantly trying to silence it. Now let's flip the script and talk about state anxiety. And this type isn't a constant hum, but more like a sudden gust of wind. It blows in when specific situations trigger it. A job interview, a big presentation, or that tense moment when you realize you've left your phone at home. It peaks, it feels intense, and then it passes. Think of state anxiety as your body's evolutionary alarm system. In life or death situations, back in our hunter-gatherer days, this surge of anxiety kept our ancestors alert and alive. So the next time you feel your heart pounding before you step on stage, or your hands sweating as you wait for news, remember that's just state anxiety doing its job. And because it's temporary, it responds well to short-term techniques, deep breathing, grounding exercises, or a pep talk to remind yourself that the feeling is fleeting. Recognizing that some anxiety comes and goes, that it's there to protect you rather than haunt you, can make it all feel a bit less daunting. Now, you might be wondering, why bother making these distinctions? Because they help us understand and treat anxiety in a more tailored way. If you live with high trait anxiety, you'll benefit from strategies designed for the long haul. Mindfulness practices, cognitive behavioral therapy, or lifestyle changes can help you manage that constant hum. The goal is to build acceptance and to live peacefully alongside your inner warrior. On the other hand, if you're dealing with state anxiety, you need quick, practical tools for those moments of panic. Recognizing that your anxiety is situational can stop you from spiraling into thoughts like, "I'm an anxious person." Instead, you can frame it as, "I'm feeling anxious right now, and that's okay. I know how to handle this." At the end of the day, the distinction between state and trait anxiety invites a more compassionate view of ourselves. We're not doomed to live in a never-ending cycle of fear. We're humans. And some of us are wired to feel anxiety more often or more deeply. Sometimes it's baked into our personality. Other times, it's just our body reacting to stress. And knowing the difference can be a relief. It gives us permission to approach anxiety with nuance, choosing the right tools for each type and seeing our struggles through a lens of understanding. Thank you for joining me today on Shrink by Quint. And if you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with others, or leave a review. Your feedback helps me continue to provide what I hope is valuable content to support your mental health journey. Remember, your health is your wealth. Until next time, take care.